Hey guys, my name's DocJade and welcome to episode 7 of the Factorio series where we try to hit 1 million green circuits per hour. In the last episode we automated laser turrets and built a giant artillery train, but today's problem is a lack of iron, so I'm going to run over to our iron patch over here and we're going to throw some speed modules into it to hopefully help production a little bit. That was all the speed modules I have, but didn't do very much as you can see on the graph here, just a tiny little bump. But I guess I can just research some more mining productivity. You know what? I changed my mind. We're not going to research that due to the low iron we have, because we can't make enough yellow signs for it in a timely manner anyway. So I'm going to work on commandeering this next iron patch instead. Now, how are we going to do that? The artillery train, of course. It's currently at the bottom of the base where it can't reach the biters up there, so we're going to need to make a path through the water here. But to do that, we're going to need a ton of landfill, which I don't have. So I'm going to set up this entire stone patch just for landfill production. Originally, I was going to do all my landfill production out of these 3 assemblers with a ton of beacons around it, but when I finally built it, it looked really stupid, so I tore it down and came up with a new design. You may look at this and go, wait a second, that's a giant bottleneck. You're turning so many red belts into just a couple blue belts? That's just going to block all your throughput. Those stone miners aren't going to produce stone quickly enough to fill those red belts all the time, so we don't have to worry about that. Is what I would say if I didn't actually think the exact same thing while I was building it, so touche. After copy and pasting the design a couple times, I do end up adding more belts to it, so haha, you win. Also, since landfill production is so stone heavy, you rarely need more than 3 or 4 assemblers even for an entire stone patch. Well, at least until you have a ton of mining productivity, but that's besides the point. Since I'm going to be turning the entire stone patch into landfill, I'm going to add a couple more chests. Anyway, that's landfill production done. Time to start working on that railway. I'm going to make it just wide enough so I can put rails on one side and roboports on the other. I'll go ahead and connect that rail to the artillery train really quick. Now we get to make a little turn out here in the water and go diagonally. Diagonally? Diagonally. I hate English. I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. Now that our land bridge is done, I can start working on placing rails around the perimeter of our wall. With all those new rails placed down, we can send the train up there and start taking out the biters. After clearing a large area of land like the United States government did to the Native Americans back in 1830 to 1847, we can start building a new wall. I'm only going to do the right half right now because I don't want to accidentally overwhelm the bots and make this take forever. We're not making laser turrets quickly enough for our wall construction, so I'm going to cut off iron plate production to the secondary green circuits, and then I'm going to throw down some dedicated steel production directly next to laser turret production. Even with all these speed modules and the furnaces, I still don't think we're going to be making steel quickly enough, so I'm going to throw down an entire secondary smelting array. The top half of the array isn't getting nearly enough iron plates, so I'll just go ahead and delete it. That's better. Went and checked out this giant biter nest, but I don't have enough firepower in my Spidertron to take it down, so I kind of had to run away. Yeah, whatever. I'll just come back with the artillery train and take it out. Progress on the wall is going pretty good. Top half is almost done, except the bots have decided to play ring around the rosies around these roboports instead of spreading themselves out to charge. I've decided to make a bridge with landfill so I can make one continuous wall instead of splitting it up into 2 sections. Also, I've moved a couple roboports around, so I've ended up with a ton of robots in my inventory. Anyway, time to place down more of those wall blueprints. I started messing around with some blueprint books I found of rail bases on the internet. This one ended up being way too small, so I had to go with something else. Anyway, I expanded our little bot-based mall here to have some more products, including requester, provider, and all the other kinds of logistic chests, and some rail-based stuff. I kept looking through that blueprint book, and nothing really caught my eye. It was all kind of just weird setups for this tiny rail base, but I ended up grabbing another blueprint book off the internet and started making designs like this. Yeah, quite a bit bigger. I like this. With some minor refinements, I ended up with a design I liked, so I made a blueprint out of it. That part of the wall that was going through the lake is pretty much done now, and I say we've got a ton, and I mean a ton, of laser turrets in storage now. After some tinkering with that blueprint, I was able to get it to tile correctly, so now we can start working on building our rail base. First things first, I'm going to surround this iron patch with a couple of these because I plan on mining it and loading it directly onto trains. Now this is a really big iron patch, so it's going to take some balancer shenanigans to get it onto a reasonable amount of belts. I'm going to start working on the train loading station. First, I'm going to build a stacker. What a stacker basically does is lets trains wait nearby the iron patch instead of just coming from all the way across the map when they need to get reloaded. Now I'll build the actual pickup station itself. It's hideous. I'll start hooking up all the miners to the balancers. Also, I managed to spot the corpse of a behemoth biter. We're getting behemoth biters now. Those are the biggest ones, so I'm going to upgrade our projectile damage. There we go. I'm also going to research weapon shooting speed as well, because I am terrified of the behemoth biters. I don't think our old walls can handle them. Anyway, back to working on that iron loading station. I'm going to run 6 full blue belts of iron ore over to it. Real quick, I'm going to research gates because I need to put the artillery train's rails straight through the wall here. This rail is going to connect our old wall to our new wall so we can send the artillery train up. That'll help us clear out the biters in the way of our wall expansion. I'll send that train up real quick and then we can lock and load. Anyway, back to that iron patch. I'm going to finish connecting some of these belts, and then we can work on setting a train up for iron ore delivery. Now, we're going to deliver iron ore directly to the base, so I'm also going to need to set up an iron ore receiving bay at the base itself. After somehow figuring out a way to go through this wall with the rail and then setting up the actual drop-off point itself, we're going to figure out how to inject the ore directly into the veins of the base. The way we're going to do that is we're just going to pipe it straight over to where these old miners used to be. Yeah, kind of lazy, but whatever. With all that out of the way, we can set up the train to start automatically delivering the ore. Now, these one-to-one trains, one-to-one meaning one engine and one cargo wagon, aren't very optimal for delivering stuff, but they look really funny when you stick nuclear fuel in them because they go wicked fast. Now, the pickups and drop-offs don't actually have their chests in them right now, so there's actually no ore being delivered. Also, the train can't find a path back home. You know why? Because I'm missing 2 pieces of track because of this tree. Another thing we're running low on is blue belts because I decided I wanted to have all of the gears delivered by robots. That was stupid. I threw some assemblers down, problem solved. Also, I finished building that loading station, so now the train can actually fill up with ore. And there we go. Now we're delivering iron ore directly into the base. This mining setup is huge. It's hilariously huge. Like, how many belts is that? 15 belts of ore turned into 6 blue belts of ore.
It's beautiful!
Anyways, I'll start working on a grid-based iron ore smelter. Our entire future base is going to be built on this grid, so might as well start building it now. Being able to transport everything around between the grid cells with trains is going to be super useful. I actually didn't get a recording of me designing the actual smelting array, so here's me designing the output to the smelting array, and there's the smelting array. It was super easy to build anyway, I just had to calculate how many smelters I'd need to take 1 red belt in and get 1 red belt out. I'm going to set a limit on our iron ore deliveries to make sure we don't get iron ore delivered unless we have less than 8,000 iron ore, because if we don't have less than 8,000 iron ore, we don't have enough room to unload the train. We just want to make sure we don't hog a train by having it come over, sit for 5 seconds, not actually doing anything, and then just going back. But since we have more than 8,000 iron ore right now, if you look at the train station, it's blinking red, which means it's deactivated. Anyway, time to plug in the smelting array, and we are done with our first grid-based production. Just like the input chests, I'm going to hook up the output chests to make sure we don't turn on the train station unless we have at least one full train load worth of iron plates smelted. I'm going to go ahead and mark it on the map with this iron plate, and we're done. Just keep in mind we're going to need at least 17 more of these to hit our 1 million green circuit goal. Oh, I forgot to place more wall blueprints. I'll do that right now. Now the bots will start working on that left wall. I'm going to copy and paste the route from that iron ore delivery train over to a second train so we can have 2 iron ore delivery trains. Since the iron ore pickup and drop off points all have the same names, it makes it really easy to just copy and paste for a couple of trains. But a long-term issue is we can currently only load 1 train at a time, so I'm going to go ahead and add a second train loading station to this depot. Now we can load 2 trains at the same time. You can ignore the beeping, that's just the biters attacking the unfinished wall. Weapon shooting speed 6 is done researching. That took about 2 hours just because we didn't have any steel on the bus. Next I'm going to upgrade our robot's carrying capacity, so hopefully we can construct that wall a little bit faster. I was going to research the carrying capacity again, but it turns out this actually requires the yellow science. We don't have enough of that right now, so instead I'm actually going to research inserter capacity bonus. And we'll go ahead and research that for a second time, because why not? Also, I forgot to research nuclear fuel reprocessing, so I'm going to research that now for no reason. We don't have enough walls for the wall, so I'm going to build more wall production for the wall to build the wall. Oh, and I'm missing a ton of footage here. I made the rail grid bigger, and I'm adding a copper ore mining array. Now I'll go ahead and build a copper ore smelter. It's the same design as the iron one, just copy-pasted. Another thing that's missing footage is me designing green circuits, but at least I have me copy and pasting it this time. And with that labeled, that's our first grid-based green circuit production. Once we stick some productivity module 3s in all of these green circuit assembling machines, we only need 9 more of them, and then we hit 1 million green circuits per hour. Issue is we also need to consume 1 million green circuits per hour, so it's not as easy as it looks. Anyways, here I'm setting up some more steel production for yellow science because it's been stupid slow forever, so it's finally due for an upgrade. There we go. That should speed it up quite a bit. I'm going to set up a little loop of belts here, and I'm going to put everything we need to build next episode on it. We need to make some more level 3 speed modules, some level 3 productivity modules, and we need to set up some better rail production because we're going to be expanding aggressively, hopefully soon. Oh, and red circuits for the speed and productivity modules. But that's all I've got for today, so go ahead and leave a like or a comment, and until next time, my name's DocJade. Bye-bye.